Did you know the zodiac system most people follow today, Western astrology, is the European colonized version, distorted, watered down, and stripped from its original African Kemetic, Babylonian, and indigenous roots? Let's break down all 12 signs with original meanings, before colonization, what Europeans changed or removed, real spiritual function of each, how to reconnect to your ancestral zodiac. 1. Aries, the original fire warrior. Before colonization, Aries represented the divine warrior, the protector of the tribe. In African spiritual systems, Yoruba, this aligns with Ogun, the god of war and iron. It wasn't just rage, it was disciplined power. Colonized version, turned into a hothead, selfish, impulsive. What was removed? The connection to ancestral responsibility and spiritual protection. Real power, manifesting new beginnings and guarding spiritual gates. Reconnection, honor your bloodline, protect your tribe. Use fire as purification, not destruction. 2. Taurus, the earth guardian. Before colonization, Taurus was the keeper of resources linked to agriculture, music, and wealth. In Kemet, associated with Hathor, goddess of beauty, fertility, and music. Colonized version, seen as lazy, stubborn, materialistic. What was removed? Their sacred connection to nature and rhythm. Real power, embodying abundance, protecting land, grounding energy. Reconnection, practice earth rituals. Reclaim food, music, and land as sacred. 3. Gemini, the divine messenger. Before colonization, Gemini represented duality and divine communication, a balance between the physical and spiritual, often linked to the trickster Orisha like Eshu Elegba. Colonized version, labeled two-faced, flaky, deceptive. What was removed? Their role as spiritual interpreters and gatekeepers. Real power, translating messages from the spirit world to the physical. Reconnection, use your voice, language, and wit to awaken others, not entertain. 4. Cancer, the womb energy. Before colonization, Cancer was the sacred divine mother, not emotional weakness, but spiritual creation, aligned with Yamoja or Isis. Colonized version, painted as overly sensitive, moody, needy. What was removed? The creative power of water and the womb. Real power, protecting ancestral memory, creating life and healing through emotion. Reconnection, use your emotions as spiritual data. Honor the womb space. 5. Leo, the sun being. Before colonization, Leo was seen as the living sun. It symbolized divine rulership, not ego. In Kemet, this relates to Ra and the lion goddess Sekhmet. Colonized version, called vain, dramatic, attention-seeking. What was removed? Their solar codes and ancestral leadership. Real power, illuminating truth and leading through example. Reconnection, shine, but not for applause. Lead through truth, not ego. 6. Virgo, the sacred healer. Before colonization, Virgo represented spiritual order, ritual, and healing, associated with ancient priestess orders and herbal knowledge. African midwives, Ifa healers. Colonized version, criticized as picky, judgmental, neurotic. What was removed? Their ancestral role in sacred feminine healing. Real power, restoring purity through service and ritual. Reconnection, study herbs, fasting, and sacred feminine wisdom. 7. Libra, the balancer of worlds. Before colonization, Libra aligned with Ma'at, the Kemetic goddess of balance, truth, and cosmic justice. Colonized version, seen as indecisive, flirtatious, shallow. What was removed? Their role as spiritual judges and truth keepers. Real power, holding energetic justice between spirit and matter. Reconnection, study Ma'at, speak truth even when it disrupts peace. 8. Scorpio, the death shaman. Before colonization, Scorpio was not evil. It was sacred transformation. African traditions honored death as transition. This sign was a shamanic rebirther. Colonized version, made demonic, dark, manipulative. What was removed? Their role as spiritual initiators. Real power, turning trauma into transformation, death into new life. Reconnection, study your ancestors, rebirth cycles, shadow work. 9. Sagittarius, the truth seeker. Before colonization, Sagittarius was the traveler of worlds, physically and spiritually, linked to the griots, storytellers, scholars, and wanderers. Colonized version, labeled as reckless, commitment phobic, preachy. What was removed? Their wisdom journeys and ancestral teaching role. Real power, guiding tribes through new knowledge and ancient stories. Reconnection, travel with purpose, learn ancient languages and mythos. 10th Capricorn, the mountain elder. Before colonization, Capricorn was the wise builder, the keeper of structure and time, related to African elders and builders of pyramids. Colonized version, seen as cold, workaholic, rigid. What was removed? Their sacred duty to build spiritual legacy. Real power, establishing systems for future generations. Reconnection, honor elders, build for legacy, not survival. 11. Aquarius, the visionary ancestor. Before colonization, Aquarius represented the keeper of the future, the channel of divine information, connected to ancestral stargazers and water bearers. Colonized version, branded as weird, aloof, unemotional. What was removed? Their prophetic and revolutionary nature. Real power, shifting paradigms, rebuilding systems. Reconnection, channel original ideas, tap into future tech plus African science. 12. Pisces, the dream walker. Before colonization, Pisces was the dream shaman, moving between spiritual and physical realms. African seers and dream interpreters lived this role. Colonized version, called delusional, overly sensitive, escapist. What was removed? Their power to decode dreams and spirit messages. Real power, interpreting divine messages and visions. Reconnection, keep a dream journal, honor spirit visitors. Final thought, the zodiac was never meant to be just a personality quiz. It was a spiritual map rooted in the stars, the ancestors, and African cosmology. Europeans stripped it of its sacred function and repackaged it for entertainment. You weren't born under a colonized sign. You were born under a divine frequency